Right. Well, hello, folks, and welcome to another Thinking Outside the Bank. Actually, we're on our Wise Guys and Ties website right now. But what we're going to do today is we talk a lot conceptually about how to build business credit, and we always go over certain aspects to help you do that. But I want to go ahead and because we get a lot of people asking us this all the time, and so if I can help you in any way understand what it is that we do and what is our system and how does it work, I want to go ahead and take some time to show that right now. So when you log into, when you're utilizing the Wise Guys and Ties service, what do you get? Well, you get this online web-based program. And when you're doing this, what this really helps people do, you see on the left and right, is the business credit builder is how you build business credit that is completely separate from your social security number. And this is a step-by-step process that'll take your business. And even if you don't have a business, if you're looking to just start a business, how do you set a business up the right way? How do you make it profitable? That's everything contained on the business credit builder side. But then on the other side here, this funding progress, this is a whole nother aspect to what we do. I mean, there's a lot of people who need money out there, Ray.
Mm-hmm.
And whether you need money on your personal side or you need money, obviously, on your business side, people will go to the banks. And, we have actually helped a lot of people who initially went to the bank and got rejected, but then they started working with us and our broker, and they were able to find money.
Oh, yeah. Happens all the time.
Because we don't just use the traditional lenders. Yes, we do use those, but we also use secondary lenders and different types of programs. In fact, our loan officers that'll work with you will actually work through 27 different lending programs. They'll help evaluate where you're at, what type of resources that you have, and to see how they can help you collateralize something that you didn't even realize you could collateralize a lot of times. How you could use a combination of your cash flow that you have or your verifiable income combined with either your personal credit, or if you have established business credit, how they can work with your business credit, or a combination of all those, right? Business credit, personal credit. So with the funding progress, it's direct funding is what it is. So we go out and we see how can we get you funded right now. And all these programs, they fund out in anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. So it's a great way to get money now. And a lot of times people make assumptions that, oh, I don't qualify for anything. I've got this on my record. I've got that. Well, it costs no money to go ahead and look and see what you qualify for. But our services, our financial advisors, everything that's built into our business credit builder program is designed to help you build business credit separate from your social security number, so that when you complete the program, so you see this business here is 88% complete. Well, once the business credit is built, and what is the goal? We're looking to build 14 accounts that are all reporting positively on your business credit reports within a 6-month period of time. I mean, and you need monthly payment experiences from all of these 14 different accounts. Once that's and you need at least one of those accounts to be $10,000 or higher, which is not hard to do on the business credit side. But once you have that and you've completed that, you're 100% complete, then you're ready to, now your business has an excellent business credit profile. And then you can come over to the funding progress and just put your business through it and see how much your business can qualify in terms of getting credit cards, lines of credit, how much your business can qualify for all on its own. So you can do this before you've established your business credit if you have good personal credit. If you don't have good personal credit, if you've got somebody, a business partner, a mom, dad, a loved one who wants to help invest and get you going, these folks can provide, they can be your guarantor, like co-signing for a loan. Mm-hmm. And these people can co-sign for you and work with you. And so what's great is if you do get funding on this side and you do use a personal guarantee, you should always be building your business credit at the same time. Some great things that happen here is when you get either if you personally guarantee or you get somebody else to personally guarantee funds, you're going to get 5 to 8 different corporate credit cards. And depending on the personal finances of whoever gave the guarantee, you might get $25,000 for your business. You might get up to $150,000 for your business. The great thing is remember, we're trying to build up to 14 accounts that are all reporting positively on your business credit report over a minimum of a 6-month period of time. So if we can get 5 of those already taken care of, 6, 7, 8 of those already taken care of, then that lowers the number of accounts that we have to go out and build and establish. And so you just need to use all of those accounts every month to get a payment transactional history built. But this is how you can actually speed up the business credit process, because it takes 6 to 12 months to build business credit the right way. 6 to 12 months. But if you personally guarantee and get some additional funds built in there, or you get a guarantor that can give the personal guarantee, then that can speed up the process. It could shave off as much as 3 months to the whole process. So what do you do in that case? What do we do in that case? Well, if we use the personal guarantee, after we've built the business credit, we can then go back and remove the personal guarantee. It's not a simple process to remove it. I mean, you have to either reapply for those cards or try to get an interest rate reduction or a credit limit increase. And while going through that process and that reapplying for that line, you have to leave off the Social Security information that was used initially to get the line. And so it's like reapplying. If they don't allow you to do that, you can use your business credit to go out and get additional lines of credit, close those personally guaranteed accounts. And with your new lines of credit, that'll equal or surpass what was personally guaranteed before. So either way, however it's done, you end up ahead. Does that sound about right to you?
That sounds about right to me.
All right, so what I want to do is spend the rest of our time here really showing you how we help folks build their business credit, because this is really an amazing system and it's very systematic. It's broken into 7 steps. And most of the time we spend, I would say we spend almost 90% of our time on step 1, business credibility. Why do we spend so much time on business credibility?
It's just the part that takes the longest, because that's all the setup. Being credible is making sure that everything is lined up correctly. And that's what usually takes the longest, whether you're starting a business from scratch or you've already established a business and now we have to go back and correct things.
Right. You know, I also find that even for our established businesses, we have to go back and spend a lot of time here anyway.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that as you know, as I've set up businesses, as Joseph has set up businesses, we just go through the motions of filing paperwork, but never a double checking process. And so, I mean, when I got into business credit, I was finding that I had businesses 2 years old with the wrong documentation at the Secretary of State. I just never went back to look.
And so a lot of people that have established businesses, but they can't ever seem to get past the personal guarantee, what happens is we systematically, step by step, go through and we check, well, let's look at your business name. Let's look at your business address. Let's look at your business entity type and your EIN, your business phone number, your 411 list. And we go through all of this and everyone's like, yeah, I've gone through it and I checked all of it. But here's where we find when we look at your business bank account and we look at your business entity that's filed with the Secretary of State and we look at your EIN that's filed with the IRS, what we'll find is a discrepancy in an address with one of these 3.
Yeah.
And all of this is public information, or it's reported to, not necessarily public information for all of it, but a lot of this is recorded in the LexisNexis or the check system. And this is what the lenders that you're applying for these lines of credit are checking. So this whole system of checking all of these step by step and looking at each one of them, you might have a PayPal account. And that PayPal account was set up a long time ago when you were sole proprietorship. But since then, you've now set everything up. And so maybe the PayPal account has a merchant or has an EIN number. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it has your home address and the other. I mean, so here's what, for established businesses, they have something here that doesn't line up. It doesn't match. It's not congruent with everything else that's being listed here. Now, if you're setting up your business for the first time, here's another thing I really like about this step. Step one is this is the right way to set up a business. I mean, a lot of people, they come in here and they're like, oh, well, maybe I'll get my website going. I have a DBA, a trade name. Maybe I'll open my account and then I'll apply for my EIN number. Oh yeah, now it's time to go from sole proprietorship to entity. When you do all of this out of order, you increase your workload because now we've gone back and created the entity and got the EIN. That means we have to go back to the business bank account and we have to go change all of that information, right? And so it's a constant going back and forth and updating all of the information. But if we start from step one and we pick a business name and again, we want generic business names. We either want it to be specific to our name, like my name's Joseph Smith, so that's not a very specific name. But if I was Joseph Smith Enterprises, or if I was Joseph Smith Solution Group, or something like that, or Team Joseph Smith, if I pick something like that, that's very, very specific to my name, I have a better chance of that being available, first of all, as a business name. But I also don't run into being on the restricted industries list or the highly regulated industries list, which you want to avoid. But when you put your industry name, you could be Joe's Trucking, right? You could be Ray's Real Estate Group. As soon as you start mentioning what your industry type is in your business, then you get problems. So we have KD's Essentials LLC. So basically that's a question. Is that a good one? I would say, yeah. I mean, there's no industry being mentioned here. If this was KD's trucking transportation company, right, that would not work. If it was real estate investing group, yeah, broker, properties. A lot of people like to put property, KD's Essential Properties or whatever.
There you go, that works.
Anyway, so I like that one. That's a good one. A good rule of thumb, if you don't know, is can you get a trademark for your name? And a trademark means your name is unique so that it doesn't include anything else. We have, what about RC Digital Marketing? Well, you are mentioning an industry type by saying marketing right there. However, marketing is not on the highly restricted industries list.
Not restricted or the high risk, yeah.
Right, so that would be okay. But in general, this would not fit our plan because you've listed digital marketing or just marketing as your industry type. So if you want to, in moving forward, so let's say you are doing digital marketing, but you plan to do some real estate and maybe you are going to own a restaurant or you're going to have some other business. If you have a generic business name, like RC's well, if you Enterprises.
do RC Digital Enterprise or something like that, then you could do like a DBA.
If you wanted to, or set up an entirely different LLC.
Yeah.
If you're in a state that allows a series LLC, then you're golden.
Yeah. Marketing though, marketing tends to be the safest industry.
Marketing, business management, business to business consulting, things like that. But the more generic you make your name, be prepared to have to answer additional questions on, well, what is it that you do? If you say, well, I'm business consulting, well, that doesn't tell the bank enough what you do, so they're going to want more information. So keep that in mind as well. Okay, so we look at this. So as you set up your business name and your address, you need those two before you can go register with the Secretary of State. Because if you're setting up your business, you need a name and an address to create your entity with the Secretary of State. Now, you can apply for an EIN with just a business name, but if you're actually going to be an entity and register it that way, then you need to have your business name, your address, and your entity when you go and register for your EIN number. So again, this is all going in order. Now, as I get my business phone number, and this isn't a personal cell phone number, right? If I want a business phone number, it needs to be, if I'm filling out an actual business phone number, then I'm going to be supplying business name, address, my entity type that I'm registered and in good standing with the Secretary of State, and my EIN phone number to get an actual business line. And then to get into the national 411 directory, again, that can be difficult because every carrier has their own 411 directory. And so a lot of people think that they've listed themselves in the 411 directory when they actually haven't. So it's important to make sure you're getting into the national 411 directory. Here, the website and email, this is the only step that I sometimes say you can do a little bit out of order. If you get your business name set up, because depending on what state you're in, it could take a month.
Yeah.
Some states it's done like that.
In 48 hours in some.
But if you got your business name and it's out there for a long time, and there are people that check state registries for business names that are on hold or pending, and so then they'll go buy up a domain or website with your business
and then
name,
relist it for a couple $100 or maybe
or $1,000,
yeah,
right, or more.
Thousands.
So when you pick your business name and it's available, and even when you're in the process of applying, I would just go ahead and buy the domain at that point. Don't set up your website till you're ready, and your websites need to be professional, but all the information listed on your website needs to match what's listed with the Secretary of State, what's listed with the IRS, business phone number, and all of that. So if you decide for your business address to make it your home address and you're going to set up a website, well, you got to be prepared to put your home address then on your website, because you can't.
That's a very good point.
Right. So you
brought up. Yeah.
you got to be prepared to do that. But the most important step, while you don't need a website to build business credit, it really helps speed up the process, because your underwriters, if you have a website, they can quickly, it speeds up the underwriting process because they can check and verify what you're reporting online with what they're seeing in the check system or the LexisNexis. But really all you need is a business email address.
But also, if you think about it just from, any type of client relationship today, for example, I was meeting with somebody this morning, and the name that they gave me, I was doing a little search trying to find it, and I really couldn't find anything anywhere on the internet with their business name. There was no Google listing. There was only one small little bad review. And the guy said, "Oh, that's just one out of hundreds and hundreds of people." And this person was just, bent on being angry. But I said, you have to be able to put a bunch of, nowadays, getting yourself out there online is a benefit, but it can work for you and against you. If you do it, just make sure it's all lined up, like Joseph said.
That's true. That's very true. We had a question about, can you use virtual offices for a business address? Absolutely. There's strengths and weaknesses to any address, that option that you choose, with the exception of an actual brick and mortar. That comes with, you talk about challenges. Well, getting an office could be $1,000, $2,000 a month expense, when you add everything up. So that's a challenge.
Yeah, on the cheap side.
Right. So, but a virtual office, while it does give you the big brick and mortar office feel, lenders find it difficult to lend to a business where there might be 100, 200 different businesses all listed at the same address. It's not necessarily a problem, but it will create an extra identification verification check. So you might have to supply, for every line of credit that you do, your articles of organization and your driver's license to prove that you are the owner of your company.
Right.
Right. So
but it's one of those things you can provide that, but what are we doing this in lieu of? Our social security number.
Exactly. Now, here's something that a lot of people skip over, because you might be in a business field that doesn't require a business license. So, okay, yeah, we don't need that. And if you do, you need to get your business license, make sure it's up to date and it has the correct information and that the address specifically matches with everywhere else. A lot of business license that people have, the address is where we see it doesn't match. But if you're in a business industry where you don't even have a business license, people skip over that. I want to say, hold on there, Turbo, because listen, if you're brand new and you're just starting out and you're filling out all this information, the initial trade lines that you're going to get in step 3 are going to be $100, right? That's all they're going to give you. If you have a business license, most of them will give you the max line. The starter vendor lines will start at about $2,000 or $2,500. And why is that important? Because rounds or tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, they're going to look back and see what is your available credit limit. And then the new lines that you get issued are going to match or exceed that. So then if you're starting off with available limits of $100 or $500, then your first actual revolving account will be like $1,000. But if your trade accounts are $2,500, that means you're coming out of the gate with a $3,000 or $4,000, and when you get to round 2, a $3,000 or $4,000 like Amazon card right out of the gates. And then when you start applying for new cards, let's say you're going to go with Walmart or you're going to go something or get some other accounts, Office Depot or something like that. Well, they're going to match those or exceed those, right? And so here in round 1, one of the ways to step up the maximum amount that you can qualify for is business license. So don't overlook and what does it cost to get a business license? Well, that varies.
Yeah, it could be as little as $15.
Right. I mean, some places it could be $100, but I mean, the benefit that you get for what you pay, I think it's worth it. Business bank account, business merchant account. We have a lot of people with business bank accounts, but they're like, well, I don't accept payments, so I don't need a merchant account. Everybody should, if you're in business, everybody should have a merchant account, either with your actual bank that you're banking with, or get a Square or a PayPal, or, I mean, I'm not Stripe. I'm not recommending any one in particular, but every business should have a merchant service account, especially when you're trying to build business credit. It's very important.
So we had a question, do we help with the website as well? So like what aspects of the website do we actually do?
Okay, so our help with the website is, I mean, you're not getting a website, we're not a website development team. What we're going to do is we're going to tell you what needs to be on your website, what information should be there, and then what we'll do is we'll verify it. So once you set up your website, we'll go look at your website and then we'll pretend like, okay, if I'm a lender and I'm trying to verify your information and I look at your website, I'm going to say, well, you don't have terms and conditions. You need to go get your terms and conditions taken care of. You don't have a contact page, a contact tab, or I might look at it and say, well, your address doesn't match, right, with what we're seeing on record. So we're going to tell you what should be there and how you should do it, and then you go out and do it. And you can do it yourself. There's a lot of do it yourself, build your own websites, and then, or you can hire a professional to do it. As long as it doesn't look like a bad website. And what's a bad website? When you go and you look at a website and it looks clean, it looks normal, it's got this maybe row of tabs across the top or sidebars or something like that. That's normal, that looks good. But some people have crazy convoluted things and it's all jumbled and
it looks more like Yahoo.
Yeah, think about that. Yahoo's page, right? Their search page, you go look at that. You don't want your website to look like that. If your website is confusing and nobody can find out information and they don't know who you are, and yeah, so you just want it to be a nice, normal, streamlined website. And then this last step here is just to verify and check that everything that you've done previously matches, right? We can't stress enough that everything needs to match because, like Ray said, his name was just slightly misspelled. And if you just casually glance over it because you've looked at your name 100 times, right? You might have, you inputted the information correctly, but there's somebody on the other end, somebody in the bureaucracy went ahead and didn't type in things correctly. All right, so we have people asking about Wix and Weebly. Are they acceptable? I don't, there's no problem. I mean, if you want to hire a professional to set that stuff up, as long as, again, it's the information that you're putting out there. And what a lot of people do is they don't figure out, like, one of the things when we first put our website out, we didn't have any terms and conditions.
Yeah.
I mean, and so I didn't know that you had to have terms and conditions. What are the terms and conditions that you need to put on there? And how do I get them? And what are they? Where do you put them? So those are the kind of things that, you know, we would tell you about. But if you get a professional and they're helping you put it together, they'll help put your terms and conditions on there. I mean, that's what you're paying them for. So they should do that.
Oh, we also got another question. It says, how are you to know that the trade lines are reporting trade lines before you invest in those trade lines?
That's a great question. I'm coming to that.
Okay, perfect.
So-
Yeah, we're going to cover that right
So
now.
step one is just setting up your legitimacy. We haven't even applied for anything. We're just getting ourselves in the position so that when we do apply, we're not going to get denied because of anything that we're putting out there in our business. But before we even go apply, we need to set up our accounts. So this system shows you how to set up your Dun & Bradstreet number. And what's really important about Dun & Bradstreet is if you go to them on your own, they're going to charge you money, or they're going to want you to sign up for one of their programs. I mean, and you're going to find yourself spending $50, $200. I've seen people spend $2,000 signing up with all kinds of Dun & Bradstreet. And, you know, they're great features. They're great services. And if you want them, go get them. But you don't need them, right? Because this whole system is designed for you to do this. And so everything that you would be paying for Dun & Bradstreet to do would be a duplication of what you're already doing. So what we show you in step two is how do you set up your DUNS number for free? It's something that they say you can do, but then they'll scare you with stuff like, your account isn't completely set up. You need to call us right away.
Incomplete profiles.
Yeah, I mean, you've got people reporting, and it's not out there. And so Dun & Bradstreet does not actually report your business credit until you have 3 accounts reporting. So it doesn't matter who you are, right? But they'll call you once you get 1 trade line reporting or 2 trade lines. They're going to contact you and it's going to be like emergency, red alert, right? Just keep in mind, every time you get a phone call or an email from Dun & Bradstreet, they want to sell you something, and they've got a product or a service that they want to sell you. So if you just you want to get your account with them, you want everything in your account to be correct, right? So we went through everything in step 1, making sure that we were set up correct. We want that to match what's in Dun & Bradstreet. Now, with Business Experian and Equifax Small Business, they will typically pull your information from your creditor. They'll also cross-check it with Dun & Bradstreet. However, even though you don't have to set up an account with them per se, you should double check, because if somebody inputs your information incorrectly somewhere, then they'll have your information incorrectly. So once you start getting trade counts that are reporting to Business Experian and Business Equifax, go ahead and follow the steps, go in there, check those accounts, and make sure that the information that's being reported is correct. And then, of course, if you have anything that's reporting incorrectly, or you have something that should be reporting but it's not, we also show people how to fix your business credit, because there is no FCRB, law that rules business credit. It's the wild, wild west. And so there actually is a system that you go through, a step-by-step approach to fixing your business credit, or ways to get things that are reporting inaccurately off of your report. So once step 1 and step 2 is done, then it's off to step 3, right? This is probably the hardest step, because we're trying to get our trade accounts, and these are difficult. You need a minimum of 3 trade accounts just to have a business credit profile. But what Ray and I coach people on is we want you to set up a minimum of 6 of these, because you need the better that we do in round 3. So on this page, as you scroll down, our list, it fluctuates because we keep this updated in real time. But this is going to be 15 to 18 different starter vendors that you can apply for that'll give you a line, a business line of credit. They're going to be in the form of net 22 or net 30 or net 55 accounts. And so it's not true credit in the sense that it's revolving with an interest rate, but you make a product purchase and then you pay it off. You make a product purchase, they invoice you, then you pay it off. And then this is how you grow your credits. You need to get, so our list, it's always changing, meaning, why is it changing? Because some of these businesses, they report for a while and then they don't report. And so the question was, what was that question that was asked earlier?
How do you know who's reporting and before you actually go into those?
Yeah. So how do you know who's reporting? That's a great question, because you call up a business and they're like, and you ask them, hey, do you report to the business credit bureaus, to Dun & Bradstreet, Experian? They're not going to know what you're talking about. And then they're going to.
Sure, I imagine we would.
Yeah, or they'll say yes and they don't know. Right. So what our system does is it tracks in real time the approval trends of over 100 different credit issuers. And some of them report and then some of them stop reporting. I mean, and you would think like, well, I've got a bank credit card. Like if you had a bank credit card with Wells Fargo, not to pick on Wells Fargo, but you would think, well, Wells Fargo, I'm sure is reporting, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Ray, does Wells Fargo report business credit currently?
Not currently. They're going through a interesting phase right now where they normally do. And then I anticipate they're going to be coming back.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's kind of come to a little halt for the last 2 months, maybe.
Right. And a lot of businesses, they report and then they stop reporting. And then you got to know the underwriting guidelines. So let's say we gave you a whole list of businesses and you go out and you apply for them, and not one of them will give you a line of credit. They all want personal guarantees, right? Because you've got to know the underwriting guidelines. You got to know, well, what is it that I need to supply this business so that they will give me a business trade line so that we can use them.
You bring up a very good point, because it has been one of those uncertain things. And then I don't know if you want to, maybe you could stop sharing for a second and then pop one open so they could see what that actually looks like. But with the whole Wells Fargo thing, it's because of current economic situation and things happening, especially as certain workforce has been reduced in certain areas and things like that. To report positive, that requires actual work. This actually requires somebody to be monitoring this. This requires a department, especially on Wells Fargo's size, to be handling the reporting aspect to Dun & Bradstreet. So that's not something that is required by lenders. And it's usually typically the first thing that goes when a company starts to cut back. They start to cut back certain areas. But the other thing is too, it also kind of goes into also the reason we have to be on top of these things is because, especially right now, they're adapting and changing so quickly. Because, for example, because of what's happening, what I also know, it's like you see one thing happen, what else has been happening? Well, Wells Fargo is also doing a lot of things to soften the blow to businesses right now, and they're doing some forgiveness on loans, or they're forgiving late payments for the next. Right now, they've announced 90 days of late payments that they're being forgiven. And so there's a correlation to when they made that announcement to all of a sudden they stopped reporting the activity on their, especially their secured business lines in the beginning. So it's interesting. We don't know all the inner workings, but we can see from the outside of what is actually happening, and being on top of that is what matters.
Right. And then also, on top of that, even without anything going on in the economy, there's seasonal businesses that will report for a season and then they don't report, right? Because it's all based off of money.
It is.
Right. Because it costs money for these businesses to report. Now, one of the businesses, and everybody, usually has heard of, Uline, that's how you get a trade account. But and they have packing materials, industrial, janitorial supplies. Good place to order your hand sanitizer, your face mask, and your toilet paper, right? They have all of these products there. But look, here are the underwriting guidelines. You need to be in good standing with the Secretary of State, have your EIN number, your business address matches everywhere. I mean, people have been like, well, hey, I tried to get to Uline, they wouldn't give me an account, or they needed me to make several product purchases, or they wanted a whole bunch of additional information.
Oh, my favorite was they said I needed to prepay for 10 months. And I said, whoa, you've really done something wrong.
Well, and what is it that we find?
Yeah, it's the business address.
They're not matching it. You need a DUNS number. A business license goes a long way. I mean, this is how you get, with a business license with someone like Uline, this is how you can get a 2000.
The Wyoming C Corp, that does it a lot. The Wyoming C Corp, when you're not in Wyoming. Before you set up a Wyoming C Corporation, let's talk. Let's figure out what you're trying to accomplish.
Look at this. A lot of people miss this. Your business phone number listed in the National 411 directory.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, almost everybody misses this one, right? Address doesn't match. You're not listed in the National 411 directory. And so, I mean, and some people, I've seen people pay anywhere from $10 to $300 to get into the directory, because I mean, it's all about how fast do you want to get it done and get it expedited, right? I want in there today versus, hey, get me in there within the next couple of weeks or within a month. And so, our system, we help people get into the National 411 directory. Mm-hmm. It takes anywhere from 3 days to 2 weeks, I think, to get some, utilizing our system, because we have a corporate account that works with getting people into the National 411 directory. So,
and if you've been following it, as you see here in the upper left hand on your screen, it says Uline, and then qualifying factor, it says you're pre-qualified. That means as you've been going through, you've been entering your information, and our system says that you should be approved. And if you, for some reason, weren't approved, then that's when we get on the phone and really figure out what happened. Because if you should be approved, then there needs to be something that was either missed, or usually it just requires a call to their corporate or their credit department, because it was, one of those things. I guarantee their system, every couple, even good-looking credit accounts, they still kick them out as denials just to reduce that factor of liability. Yeah, it's interesting for sure.
So you can see here, your application may be approved for a net 30 at the time of order, but then you see you've been approved, and then all of a sudden their credit department may change that to some prepaid orders. It all depends on how well you did basically in step one that we covered, right? If you do step one the right way and it's 100% correct, these things are automatic approvals. I mean, automated approvals, meaning a computer takes care of it. You don't even have to work with somebody on this. Again, all you have to do, I mean, this gives you, where do you go? Here's where they're at. You create an account first, place the order, select net 30 terms, right? A lot of things that people also miss, and this is just additional coaching that we give, but each credit line will have different amounts that you might need to pay. And, we give additional coaching on top of this to help people, because we work with people in the trenches, and we've seen, well, hey, I made a purchase, but it's not reporting. What's going on with that? Well, we've tracked that. You need to make a $50 purchase with Uline. And when we say a $50 purchase, you might purchase a whole bunch of little items, and then they split your invoice into 2 different invoices. And they're both under 50. And so they're not going to report that. So, and then some people will purchase something, and then when you add in shipping and taxes, it comes out to $50, but they're like, well, it didn't report, because the minimum purchase with the company needs to get paid $50, right? The company doesn't get paid anything off of the shipping or the taxes. So you might be making a purchase with Uline, but to get it to report, you might be spending $60-65 with them to get it to report.
Mm-hmm.
So these are little things that when you're working with the Wise Guys in Ties, you get additional coaching for all of these type of things. So definitely, we want all of you to know that building business credit, and we're just giving you a look at all of at our business credit builders so that you can see for yourself. So we also talk about your business credit monitoring. So after you start getting these lines, then we got to make sure that they're actually reporting. So you can go and pay D&B for their business credit monitoring program. You can pay Experian has their own program. So does Equifax.
Right.
But they're at a minimum $50 per company, or sometimes they might throw in some other bells and whistles. You could spend, I've seen, up to $99 a month.
Oh.
Just for their monitoring service. So we have a very simple RSS feed with these folks, and we use a system called Nav, and it's just $24 a month to get D&B, Experian, and Equifax, and it's a real live feed right into this system. And that's why you saw where it said pre-qualified on some of these, because with being pre-qualified, it's getting real-time feedback from your your business credit report, showing you what is and what you are and aren't qualified for. Now, you don't have to pay the $24 a month if you don't want to. You can go out and check it on your own. But here's what's important. Once you start applying for these net 30 accounts, it could take up to 90 days. Let me repeat, 90 days for some of them to report. I mean, we're not used to that. If I pay for something normally with my personal credit card, it should be on my credit within 30 days.
Yeah.
So that's what's difficult, because we're in the wild, wild west here. It could take up to 30 days for it to report. And some people are like, well, I'm going to make a purchase now and then I'll wait 30 days to see it. Well, actually, what you should be doing is making a purchase every month for 3 months in a row. And someone's like, well, that's a lot of money to spend.
Or you mean up to 90, yeah, sometimes.
Well, right. But it's not a lot of money if you learn how to create synergy with your business. So if you start purchasing products that you would normally purchase anyway, then, since you were going to spend the money, spend it through these business credit accounts so that you can just live your life the way you're normally living it.
All those things, paper towels, toilet paper, printer, ink, gas, all those.
Coffee.
Water bottles.
A lot of different things can all be purchased through your business credit.
Cleaning supplies.
Absolutely. So then it's just, steps 5, 6, and 7 were like step 3. It's just another list of new lines of credit. And we have, like I said, up to over 100 different credit issuers and the underwriting guidelines that help you get that. But if you do step 1 the right way, then you're going to fly through this. And it only takes 6 to 12 months to go through this. Now, if you want more information about our business credit building program, come to our website. It's wiseguysandties.com. We've got a lot of information about business credit. We've got a FAQ section that you guys would love. I have to say, we get a ton of questions that are right here. I'll just show you the FAQ real quick. You can see here, what is business credit? Do you repair credit? How much are your services? What is the business credit builder program? Can I do this on my own? How much business credit can I get? People ask, what is credit banking? How do I get started? When I hire you for your services, what am I responsible for? Are there any other additional expenses, right? Every question that I get asked, if it's a new question, I throw it into the FAQ, but I guarantee you, I meet with all you wonderful, beautiful folks, and this is a list of all the top 20 questions that I get. So I put it right there. So anybody who's just checking us out for the first time can learn more about, what is business credit. You can see reviews on us. I write articles that I post here. We've written a book. You can see it right here. A business credit playbook that spells it. We actually have in our book alone 30 different accounts, underwriting guidelines and all to help you get started. We put on a host of events each and every week. You can register for those. And if you want to meet with us and schedule a one-on-one free appointment, right here is where you got access to my calendar. Well, Ray and my calendar, they're merged. But in terms of this business credit builder, what is it? What comes in it? All the information's right here. You can learn everything that you need to know about the business credit builder program. It's all listed out on one page. Because let's say you're like, this is awesome. I want to do this, but I got to talk to my husband. I got to talk to my wife. Well, instead of talking to her, just show them this page. Here's a 21-minute video with that goes over everything that we just covered in the Business Credit Builder, right? We just covered it. We just kind of walked you through it a moment ago. A 21-minute overview. What are the benefits to business credit? And people ask, what does this cost? Right? Well, we have financing available, no credit check. We have 12 months financing for the full price of $5,000 or $2,497 for a one-time payment. If you have questions or want to set up the financing, schedule a consultation with either myself or Ray Fleming. Or if you're ready to get going, you can pay right now, right? Just click pay now. And then you can choose, you want to pay PayPal, right? You have PayPal credit or you got a debit credit card. Select the one that fits your situation and you just fill out your information and you're on your way. What happens after you get signed up? Well, you're going to get a client service agreement. You're going to start working with us. We're going to schedule a follow-up coaching session. We give 2 coaching sessions that go with that. And you're going to work with our financial advisory team, our loan officers. So there's this and so much more when you get set up with us in the Business Credit Builder program. So I just wanted you guys to see, because we are getting a lot of questions and we go over this information so often, but we've got so many new people.
Right.
I mean, just in the last month alone, like over 300 new people have started subscribing to our channel who haven't heard about this stuff. So we wanted to make all of this very easy and reiterate how you start working with us, what our services are, what do we provide. So we want you to plug in. We want you to get started now. Do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share before we wrap up?
It's absolutely amazing. It's required for any business. I mean, if you look at any successful business, they have business credit to some degree. And we had a couple questions about, like, you know, if trade line reporting isn't necessarily a consistent way of establishing business credit, but you know, there are trade lines that come in and come out, but it is the only actual consistent way of building business credit without using your personal guarantee. And I would say out of the ones that have stopped reporting, 80% have stayed the same for the last year. 80% have stayed the same. We have over 100 accounts that we check and monitor and report on. And so, you know, 80 of those they haven't changed at all.
I've watched some stop reporting and then I've seen them come back and start reporting.
Yeah, so it's one of those things that, you know, it's just being on top of it. And, you know, worst case scenario, you end up spending $50 on something, but out of the hundreds of thousands of accounts out there that don't report, it's really the best thing. But also,
can they do this on their own?
You can definitely do it on your own. We had to figure it out on our own as well. We just can't guarantee that you'll get it done as quickly. So it's really up to you. If you want to take it on as a job, then go for it. But they could always get our book and do it themselves. Do-it-yourselfers. A lot of folks are picking up the book right now. We have a special on that running for $97 on Amazon. But I also want to let you guys know, for some of you on the line that were interested and have been talking about how to incorporate this into your real estate business, tonight, second week of the real estate investing mastermind that's going to be taking place. That is going to be live at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So, you know, if you're on the East Coast, that's going to be 9 p.m. You can go over to the Wise Guys and Ties event tab on our website, wiseguysandties.com, and you can register for that Zoom call on our website. But tonight, second night on Real Estate Investing Mastermind, we are going to be going over some creative ways of purchasing properties where you don't have to use your personal credit to qualify for the loan. So that should be pretty exciting. And then, so I know some of you that I see on the line have been interested in that as well and wanted to let you know about that. But yeah, those are kind of my final thoughts.
Perfect. Folks, I agree. You can do this on your own. It's hard to find all the information. We did put all this information on how to build business credit, as well as 30 different credit issuers and the underwriting guidelines in our book. And again, you can get that for $97 on Amazon. Just go ahead and look up Business Credit, the Entrepreneur's Playbook for Building Business Credit. And for those of you who are like, I want this faster, right? Go ahead and sign up for our Business Credit Builder program. Start working with us, our financial advisory teams, our web-based online program, the training videos in there, as well as getting business coaching with us, all for $2,497. And our services stay with you for up to 5 years. I mean, the way I look at it, you're going to do this eventually. I mean, and if you haven't already started, you need to immediately, especially everything that's going on in the economy. When personal credit begins to dry up, the only thing that's going to be available is business credit. And so you're going to do this eventually. So why not get started now and get ahead of the curve and really start creating your own economy so that you can do what you were put on this earth to do. And that's really what we want to do. That's why our business exists. That's why we're here to help you, give you the resources and the tools you need to accomplish your dreams. On behalf of myself, Joseph Smith, and my business partner, Ray Fleming.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. God bless.